Yes. West
Yeah.
and
here.
Radke.
Yes, present. We have a quorum. Could we all rise to do the pledge, please?
Yeah, that's what I mean, it's not the same.
I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. At this point in time, if you have a smart device, please, if you have a smart device, please turn it on vibrators silent.
Oh, I guess Marv's is on too. Everybody else is muted.
Okay, can you hear us? All right.
So should we turn these on?
Can you hear us? Still on echo? Carol? Okay.
muted, not your sound. Oh, both of them, okay.
Okay, we're gonna try to stop talking, because when you guys speak,
that I basically threw my hands up at the end of June after working for 4 months with Andy on everything else going, I can't keep doing this, because I was doing it on a volunteer basis. Just so you guys know, I worked for Plant for 9 years. I'm CPA, I know what I'm doing, and all, and I've been in the accounting world all of my career. I have concerns about the fact that I'm hearing from you that some prior year disbursements weren't made. That troubles me, because that makes me question, did we do something inappropriate of not dispersing to the appropriate taxing authorities? And then secondly, the tax account is still not reconciled. Andy has outstanding, reconciliation issues back to September, I think. I think July was the only one that reconciled. So I don't know if you guys have been involved with what's going haywire there. I don't know if it's the online payments, because I know they don't necessarily agree with what the report is that you can get from the online iCloud or whatever it is, to what the bank deposit looks like, but I don't know what's coming through incorrectly. And I noticed on something that Andy had given me from a bank rep, that there's still stuff coming through as miscellaneous transactions, and I don't know if that's the online payments or what that is, and if you guys have reconciled those things. Because I was concerned looking at it that the remittances were not going to the county finally. Hopefully that tracker is touching that now, but again, I get a little concerned about taking data from the SMA, dropping it into an Excel file. Granted, you can have control totals that you'll make sure they match, but is it still valid, accurate info? So those are kind of my global questions that I would kind of like some clarity if everything is working properly, you would see those disbursements then being made, you know, either twice a month, in the middle of the month, or the beginning of the next. It should zero out. And if there's things that are not reconciling on the bank statement side, something is still going haywire there. That either a transaction is posting to that
I
tax
agree.
account,
You have
or
to,
something else
absolutely
is
have to
happening.
keep up on your tax bank recs in order to keep things from getting out of control. Because like, to your point, if you're not staying up on your bank recs, then you can have NSF checks, you know, you can have refunds that happen, and if you're not posting entries to fix that into your system, like, you're gonna, that can get messy really quick
Oh,
if you're not keeping up on your bank recs.
Trust me,
And
I
that
lived it.
is
Yeah.
one of our suggestions, is just to make sure, you know, that somebody is going through the bank recs, that they are completed. We suggested and made the recommendation that, you know, if we of the month, I mean, versus letting that hang out there, that's gonna help you going forward, especially in your new tax season. Just staying on top of it is the biggest thing, right? As soon as you let it go, there are it's not as simple as, you know, a receipt comes in and it gets booked and it gets dispersed out.
August. Is there any reconciling items so that you don't know what they are?
Off the top of my head, can't answer that question honestly.
Okay, but there should, you know, if a bank
other stuff, so those got put in December, but go back to September, because that's when the board review says to do it. And those work themselves out, sort of. I just don't know how to get it so the auditor and the accountants are happy.
Okay. And Dave made a comment that it goes deeper than that. What's the depth?
Well, we started a job with Plant Moran to create a system for reconciling this tax disbursement account, which requires bank recs be done. And I don't think we should stop with that until we're zeroed out and Andy knows from a fixed point going forward how to work it the correct way.
Yeah, but how much money are you gonna put into it?
And isn't that what we had back in August? We were all set
But
up.
it's not working now, so we can't just stop, okay?
But what if somebody just come in and said, no, Dan, you hired somebody, I thought we tried to do it, but maybe.
He's our auditor, we can't have our auditor doing it.
Right, that's a conflict of interest. And just
Well,
come in and sit
He's
down.
got people in his office that don't have anything to do with that audit that can do it. The board is against it.
Jill, go ahead, ask a question.
So this is the plan. So we were working on the, trying to reconcile the accounts last year, so that was 2025,
24.
20, no.
24 tax year, now we're working 25 is what we're working on right now.
But was the June 30th, 2025 bank balance reflected on the books legitimate? I don't know that anyone ever really reconciled that, and I don't know what you did with that, because that was part of what I thought we were working on. So I don't even know if that was reflected legitimately on the book, on the audit report.
So you did have an audit, as of the end of last fiscal year. So the auditors did take a look at that, and I will point out that in the letters that they gave you, they actually commented that your books were in better shape than they had been in previous years. So that is a good thing. So certainly we have a starting point, and I think that, we did get through a number of months. The issue, and I'm sure it's more than one issue, but there were issues with duplicate payments that really, so it's not as simple as just reconciling all the activity is there and it's easy to fix. There's a little bit of research that has to be done to understand why some of these transactions aren't showing up how we would expect them to. So that is the piece where, in theory, if the numbers were good and all the activity was there, bank recs would be really straightforward. But there are these deeper issues and issues that I think you would be, wise to get resolved and have cash policies. Like, I would definitely put together a policy of how you're going to, receipt on a daily basis and things like that. But again, it's like one step forward, two steps back, right? So it's, we can get back into the bank recs, but it will take a little bit of time to try to.
Other bank accounts, Andy and I worked together in those 4 months, and we got them all resolved and timely, and they were fine when I walked out in June of 2025. And they had not been done in the past. Recs were not done on any of the accounts timely. So this was where there'd been a management letter comment for prior year audit. I came in to assist to get that resolved. That's where that was coming from. The tax account was the one, bank account that was still in a disastrous state. And that's the one that, has a lot of money flying through it. That we want to be sure everything is working properly, getting into the bank, getting out of the bank properly. And, and I totally understand things like if there's an NSF check, those weren't being addressed timely, because I
budget if you did it in July?
Tax account has nothing to do with the budget.
I guess I'm missing the boat there.
It's a pass-through
It's
account.
already been pulled out.
It's a pass-through account. I bring money in from the taxes, I disperse it to the utility.
Okay, with that being said, that's, our operational. What I'm wondering is, if you had access to the tax account and to the receipting, what do you need from the township? If we gave you the remote access like we did before, how operational, would that be?
So I think, and correct me if I'm wrong, I think we have what we need. We would just have to get back into, look at the settlement document that the county provided. And then, we could go back and look at the previous bank recs because, I mean, in theory, now everything should have been dispersed and settled out. So, hopefully, if there's a way to, get to the end, more efficiently, we can certainly do that and bring that to your attention. We can go back and do each and every bank rec, for each month, but we know where we're at now, because the settlement is done. So if there's a way that we can maybe just do one bank rec, we can certainly bring that to you, Marvin, once we find, get into it and see what we find. And if there's a way to, not spend as much time but still get to the same end result, we can do that.
I'm content with that if you think the settlement statement, would reconcile.
That's still outstanding from February of 2025. It was a disbursement to Beta, that seemingly hasn't cleared the bank. Would you be able to work with Andy on how to reissue that, what he needs to do so that that can I think he would need your help on what to do with that.
Point. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna ask that we place this on our agenda, that we start at 5:30 today.
It's under unfinished business, bank rec.
Yeah, we have that under unfinished business, so we can discuss the options at that point in time. And I can reach out to Carolyn or whomever and let you know what we decide. Is that all right?
That's great. Yeah, that sounds great.
Fantastic.
Thank you for having us. We appreciate meeting you. It's been a few months, sorry it didn't happen sooner, but, it's nice to kind of see faces, even though it's a little blurry, but thank you for the opportunity to help you guys too.
Very good. Thank you. Thank you all, and you have a great afternoon evening.
Thank you, you too. Thank you. Have a good night. All right, bye.
This all started when it started. Wasn't it just reconciliation? How did that reconciliation?
It was bank recs primarily,
I'll bet I got the account.
but then Jill said the tax account is beyond help. So that came up.
No? Good, good. It's a rain day too, so.
Yeah, it was supposed to only be a shower go through.
Yeah,
It
almost
wasn't-
pass over 'em.
Yeah, I still got stuff to get out and plant. I replanted everything in the garden last night.
Well,
I got the
I wanted
stand,
more
the
than a
birds
summary
come in,
report
and as the
at the
pen
end when
comes
you send
out,
us the
they pull
bill.
it all up.
And I didn't get
So I
into that
double
'cause we ran out
planted
of
this
time.
year to make sure I had enough. I pulled it all up. And then I put fence, I had 2 fences around my garden. And the so I went out, I put chicken wire around. First I got this 2x4 wire all the way around, 6 foot tall. And then I went and I put chicken
There's a
wire
pill
all
I
the
could
way
give Andy to
around
make
on the
him figure
bottom,
this out. There's no
like
pill,
that
so we
big.
need to fix it
And I
somehow.
lacked about 10 feet on my roll, and I never went back and put it in, and that's where they're coming in on it.
Yeah, I see them just run right. It's
They
like,
just, but then they get in, they can't get out. They don't. Oh, it makes me so mad, you know, you work and it is. It's a great, and you that's why we need one down here.
You're worried about the money for. I'm thinking that might be a possibility. Okay.
Rude.
Thank you, sir, for the reminder. Okay, I'd like to call the Green Lake Township Board of Trustees regular meeting to order on June 9th, 2026 at 5:30 PM. Judy, can you do a roll call, please?
Biondo.
here.
West.
Here.
Kramer here. Biganowski.
Here.
Merrick.
Here.
McDonald.
Here.
And Radke.
Here, we have a full board. Thank you. Before we go on to the next item, I would ask that if you have any smart device, that you put it on silent or mute. That would be greatly appreciated. And with that said, I'd like to rise and do the Pledge of Allegiance, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, thank you. The next item is our agenda. Is there anybody that would like to add or remove items from the agenda? Hearing none, I would entertain a motion to approve the agenda as presented.
So moved.
Motion by Merrick, supported by
Kramer?
Kramer to approve the agenda as presented. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say no. Motion carries. Approval of consent agenda, which contains minutes of 5/12/26, 5/26 of 26, monthly bills, treasurer's reports. Is there any member of the audience that would like anything removed from the consent agenda? Any member of staff? Any member of this board? Hearing none, I would entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda.
I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented.
We have a motion by Merrick, supported by Radke.
West did.
Oh, Russ did, I'm sorry. I should turn that hearing aid up on that side.
Now we know.
She picked up what you were laying
That's okay, I can kick him.
Okay,
We are kind of close.
any discussion? Hearing none, roll call, please.
McDonald?
Yes.
West?
Yes.
Merrick?
Yes.
Biondo?
Yes.
Biganowski?
Yes.
Kramer, yes, and Radke?
Yes. Motion carries. Next item is declaration of conflict of interest. Any member of this board have any conflict with any item on our agenda from here on out? Hearing none, we'll move on to reports. I see that we have Chief Case here. We have your written report from the fire and EMS. Is there anything in particular you would like to add to, emphasize?
Yep, just a couple things, evening. So we did have emergency services today. Went relatively well with the construction. There we go. I don't want to get in trouble in YouTube world for not being able to be heard. We had emergency services day beginning or early in May. Went well. Yeah, just saying that we did. Our flight airline was supposed to make it. They were unable to due to a call, so that's typical for the work. We do have an engine in service, so the new engine is on the road. We got it thanks to the hard work of the crews. Got it switched over last week. We modified the shelves that we needed to off the old engine, so it's in service, good to go. With no real other hiccups, so happy to see that. Did talk to the RCC board. They were good with our in lieu of services payment to students, so we're good to go. So they agreed to EMT or fire school enrollments and trade for the truck. So and they're very appreciative of the board for that pumpkin apparatus. So thank you from the RTC board. Other than that, that's all I have.
Okay, I'm going to put Chief Case in a position that he wasn't prepared for tonight. Not many of know this. Our neighbors to the north, Long Lake Township, as of early last week, the fire chief resigned, left Long Lake Township's fire department. They have a fire department and they have medics. So they had two different entities over there that they worked collaborative together. Supervisor Lemkool of Long Lake Township, they're meeting tonight, by the way, as well, approached myself and Chief Case if at all possible that Chief Case could be an interim chief in name only, because they have assistant chief over there and they have their medical director. And they help as well for the filings with the state and whatnot. Long Lake Board is going to have this discussion tonight. They were hoping to put a search out for a new fire chief, and I'm not sure of the status of the medical director, for lack of a better term. That's what I know by over there, what their position is over there. Chief Case has some concerns, as well as I do, and Judy as well, and people that know his time is here. His commitment is for Green Lake Township Fire ALS. And we don't want to take away from our staffing requirements, our pay, to have Chief Case go over there and take care of Long Lake. So there's going to be some further discussions after tonight's Long Lake meeting to see what they're going to approve, is that they would pay Green Lake Township to provide services to help it would offset what costs that we garnered doing Long Lake business, if I'm being followed correctly.
Certain management services or fire services?
Everything services at this point in time. Right now, it's just fire services, but we're not sure where it stands with the medical director. I understand that there are some procedures coming up, so the medical director will be unable to perform for a couple weeks. And whether they're going to take care of in-house tonight or not, we don't know. It's just, we're having a discussion. Chief Case gave me some numbers of what they have over there, of what was potential out of, or what they paid to have the services done. And we're going through and evaluating what cost would be incurred from us. Taking a chief's vehicle from here over there should be at their cost to perform their duties.
Kind of like what
His
Blair
time.
has with Paradise.
Paradise, yeah. So that's something that we were working out. I wanted, thank you, Chief Case, for stepping up and recognizing partnerships in that regards there. We don't want to overextend you at all, or have an impact, which you indicated it would not have a negative impact on Green Lake. But just so that we can work together, and if we can't do it, we just can't do it. I don't want our services impacted at all.
So he's going
And
to
is
do 2
this
jobs
just
for the
for-
same salary?
No, that's where they're gonna pay.
Okay.
But this is just interim.
Yes.
And you're allowed to be in 2 places at once, as far as licensure. You can
Yeah,
be spread out.
Yeah, as far as, I was unable to make notification, but yes, to the state today to signify that on paper, but we're in the process.
Deputy Knopke took some PTO time to take his kids on a field trip, which is great, at school. Don't see anybody else. Now we can move on, concludes our reports. We can move on to public comment. This, I would ask that you rise, go to the podium, state your name and address of residence, and limit your comments to 3 minutes directed towards this board. And please understand that if you hear nothing, no reaction or anything of that nature there, this is the time for you to speak uninterrupted, unabridged, and we'll sit here and take it.
Greg Caskey Sr., 117 US 31. My only comment is, with all the construction going on, and I know you're having multiple meetings with MDOT, can you please make sure they're aware of the Euchre Road issues? There are 7 or 8 spots that are falling apart. Yes. Especially going from here to up. A couple of them are getting bad. So just like to make sure that they're aware of that. Thank you. And you did a great job on TV this last week.
Next.
Jill Coverdale, 5648 Runwood Way. A couple of things that I know have information in the packet that I'm touching on. The first thing is emails regarding township business. I know the trustees all have an email that's a Green Lake Township email, but I noticed that some of the communication was using personal emails. This seems like it creates exposure for both the trustee and the township for FOIA regards of, you know, opening up a personal email when you're conducting business. I noticed it with Pat's communications to the external attorney regarding the data centers, but I think I've seen it other times. The second thing, summer taxes. If the change is going to be in place, and I don't know if it is, Andy, to use BS&A for the payments for online, I don't know how this is going to be communicated to the taxpayers, because I think the fee structure changes, and it looked like it was going to be quite higher, and they would need to know that. The August ballot, the millage proposals, how is this going to be communicated to the residents? These are some significant millages that you're asking for approval on. In the August election isn't one that normally a lot of people pay attention to. And then the last thing, the DDA budget. In the packet, the budget that you guys are going to talk about, their fund balance is really high compared to the revenues that are coming in. It's almost equal to it, you know, and I don't know if there's a policy with the DDA to keep the fund balance at a certain percentage of anticipated revenues. I think we have something like that in Green Lake, but I don't know why we keep, you know, and the DDA is kind of a mystery to me as to how they receive money from the township, but it seems like if we're advancing money quicker than it's being needed, should we slow down that process. So those are just my comments. Thank you.
Any other public comment?
Tad Allen, Klimaszewski, 8565 Strickland Road. I was combing through the budget meeting, and I just want to clarify a couple of things. The Strawberry Point Association has received nothing that we've asked for, and not saying that there's a FOIA request is delinquent and perhaps malfeasance. We're working out how we're going to get a quorum and figure out how we're going to send the money, why we have to pay for our own documents. I don't know, but don't say that we're satisfied. That gibberish that you send in the bill is not cool. Nothing's cool. So, no, we haven't even started yet. So let's get going. Chop, chop.
Scott Richards, 11802 Fred Meyer. Sorry I was late. I was talking to Perry Johnson in Traverse. I don't recommend going to Traverse anytime soon. It's terrible, especially if you got a township board meeting to go to. I have some information on Justin McCall. He's running against Jack Bergman. I have some information on Edwin Dean. He's running against Betsy Coffia. And this is why I got 5,000 signatures for Carla Wagner, and that's my tax. And I'm totally against this millage. I'm done with property tax. Our taxable value keeps going up every year. It keeps going up, so you're getting more and more money every year. So I'm against all millages. And I would like to give this information to the board, if that's possible. And I did it in color. I splurged instead of black and white.
I like color, Scott.
I like black and white, but I splurged.
Thank you, sir.
This is why I think it's excellent tax. This is why I'm against the millage, and I've been talking to all my neighbors. Thank you. Is that lesson 3?
Yes, sir.
I'm usually quick.
Greg Caskey, 11711 US Highway 31. Once again, I have not received any studies on erosion on my property, nor have I gotten any permitting for MDOT building their highway, nor fees entailed. And I would like it to reflect that my property value is going to be substantially decreased by the proximity of said highway. So hopefully that reflects the next time I'm evaluated for my tax burden. Also, another topic, the parking at the Arts Academy. That's been a 15-year issue, and that's entirely this board's fault. I've been a Green Lake Township resident for 15 years. I actually lived across the street from the Epstein cabin. It's my understanding that they're planning on getting rid of said Epstein cabin. Maybe they should build a parking garage. I would highly suggest that the township, I know that they were wanting $175 for a little sign. Maybe get a few yard signs and put them between said little signs with the statute and the fines. And I don't see how it would be the sheriff's department or the state police issue to be your bad guy. You've allowed this to go on for too long. It's become status quo. They're busy trying to catch bad people so the court can throw them back out on the street. Thank you.
Any other public? Seeing none, we'll move on to postponed business. Item 1, treasurer bank rec issues. Andy?
Well, we had a meeting earlier with Plant Moran that was technologically challenging at times, but we got some information from them. I had reached out to Plant Moran last week or the week before, I don't remember which, and they told me I was on hold until they got an idea what the board wanted to do. I reached out to them to help me finish up the bank recs. Think we're close. Think we can get the information once they tell me what needs to be done to document some of the stuff. Also reached out for their help with the settlement. I want to make sure everything was right because we've got a new county treasurer and there's been rumblings. So I'm asking permission from this board to allow me to continue to use Plant Moran for accounting services as needed for tax and any accounting purposes. So I'm not reaching out to Trent or his firm for assistance with general ledger entries and what have you.
Dave?
So do I understand that bank recs are fine, you're handling them, except for the tax account bank rec?
We're working on all the bank recs. Everything is up to date except for the tax account, which I need more assistance at this point with.
I'm trying to clarify, we're not gonna use Plant Moran for normal bank recs?
I'd like to be able to have an expert out there I can reach out to for help to get the appropriate.
Forever, but I mean, maybe get through this tax season here we're trying to reconcile with, and see in a month or two how
Sherry?
Andy needs help, Andy needs to have the help. Plant Moran, I'm not so sure of. No confidence with that meeting that we just had there. I think they kind of just left him hanging back in November. I know we said we didn't want to pay him anymore, but we paid him a lot for not finishing what we were doing. But he's going to have help, or we're not ever going to get our books straightened out. And I don't know why they didn't have it done. That's my whole thing. How long does it take to straighten out the records? They were supposedly professional accountants. They should have been able to go in there and just went bam, 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 and here you are, he's done. You had him, what, 5 months?
Mark, may I respond to that? They had us correct they did what they were hired to do, getting us correct for the last tax year.
And sometimes checks were taken in and not shown. It was just conglomerate of timing issues. Because you disperse on the 1st and the 15th, give or take, and with our agreement with the county, if we do that, we comply with the disbursement contract that we have with them, we get to keep the interest. If we don't, they can revoke that and they get to collect it. So Jill focused heavily on that aspect and tried to keep an eye on it, while in the meantime trying to reconcile the other banks, and jumped into the tax, and it was,
For this tax year, Marv, every day at the end of the day, checks were deposited into the bank to our check scanner. Now, that takes sometimes 2 or 3 days to hit the bank it goes into a, pending.
Mm-hmm.
So it might be on December, or on the 31st of the month I put it in, and it doesn't show up on that bank account because it doesn't show it clears until the next day. So that's one of those, Joe, correct me if I'm wrong, a reconciliation that's showing at deposit. I wasn't looking as close as I should have. I trusted the software. It double billed the person.
But did that happen when we had them hired, or did that start happening like in January of this year?
Had I been up to date with that happened this year, it happened in September. Had I been up to date on the tax recs, or the bank recs, it would have been caught then.
All right, let's go back. The bank recs were done when Jill left last June or
For
July.
the 2024 year.
except the tax accounts.
Except the tax account. So then we had Plant Moran for 5 months on
And
the
they got
tax account.
2024 correct, as they were, the letter of engagement. We're now in
Was for 2024, we were still straightening up the year before.
2024 was corrected before the start of before the start of the tax season. They did what they were hired to do through that letter of engagement. The main concern was getting the tax account set so the bank balance and the accounting balance were the same.
For
They did that
2024.
for the end of 2024, starting 2025. So on July 1st of 2025, the bank and the books matched.
So what did they do from July 1st of 2025 to December 31st of 2025?
They helped me locate some other mapping issues. They helped me get some systems in place to get the disbursements done in a timely fashion, which they were, and more accurate of a tracker that we can see what was being done, which helped discover some of the stuff that happened in the September issue. They're kind of holding my hand, making sure that I had some confidence, kind of the feather from Dumbo, so I could fly a little bit better.
But if we had them for those 5 months, what I'm saying, where I'm coming from, if we had them for those 5 months, when they left us at the 31st of December, why wasn't our tax records okay?
The bank recs, I did not have them working on. They were working on the disbursements with me.
They didn't do it at all.
That was not part of what I was engaging them to do. That was on me, not them.
Okay.
Judy?
I agree he does need help.
Thank you.
Excuse me. In more ways than one.
Correct.
I don't have the faith in Plant Moran as I do with working with Yui. Yui's very efficient. I've had good luck with them. I guess my question is, are you going to utilize your deputy to do the bank rec, since she was a previous treasurer and has some knowledge, or maybe bring her in a little bit more so that she can help with some of the things that maybe are your shortcomings?
The answer to that is yes, she has been helping me with them. That's enough for now.
Okay.
I mean, I could go on for an hour about issues,
Excuse
but
me.
yes. The problem is my deputy is part-time. I need somebody who's gonna be there more hours. The workload is heavier than it used to be, I believe.
Is it something that you would consider talking to her to see if she would be interested in more hours to come in and help?
We've had a conversation. She said that I may need to locate somebody else to be able to do that.
Okay.
Well, we okayed hiring 2 more.
Well, he's got the budget.
I had somebody who was gonna come to the board and that fell through.
So I am in agreement that he does need help. Biggest thing is I'm just hoping that this has taught you that now you will do your bank recs in a timely manner and put them at the top of the priority list, even though you are busy doing other things, so that once we do get them straightened out, they will stay straightened out.
And I believe this going to BSNA payments will make a big difference, because one of the most difficult parts of balancing out the bank recs for the tax account is how many different payments are broke down for one batch from them, which may not make sense to anyone who hasn't dealt with it. I have 37 different colors on a spreadsheet trying to match up deposits.
Dave? I think there should be limits on what we hire an external person to do, whether it's plant or someone else. I mean, we're paying someone else to do his job. The problem's not Plant Moran, it's with our treasurer, who's been there for 5 years and can't do his job. And it's embarrassing to spend the kind of money we're spending on outside consultants to do his job. So we need to lick this real quick
something going haywire. And I think that's what Andy's asking for, because there's still stuff flying through, you know, this miscellaneous transaction bucket, which I'm not sure what's flying through there anymore. So I think they've done some good things, but, you know, we've not really seen, because I'm part of this whole thing, what that tracker really does, you know, how it's used. You know, I think it just simplifies the BSNA stuff down, but, you know, the whole balancing it out, they seem more worried about the settlement. I was certainly worried about the every month activity of the ins and outs and the refunds and the overpayments and all this stuff. So I think you've got to be very, very clear with Plant as far as, you know, what you would like them to do going forward. And it might need to be another engagement letter with them being very, very specific. Because I will tell you, if you don't outline exactly what you want, any public accounting firm is going to have creep. And they're going to creep, and you're going to get racked up with more billable hours if you don't really limit it. And I would have no trouble with you guys putting not to exceed clauses. You know, that this amount is all you can do in a month, and if you know, tap higher than that, you can't do it, you know, which would also then, you know, make Andy have to communicate very cleanly and concisely to them. That would be what I would suggest. You know, and when I think we had opportunity, I mean, Marv, you and I talked back last summer in spring, whenever I was living here, of, you know, relying on, you know, people in the county that had used BSNA to come in and help. You know, we don't have to be paying, you know, Plant Moran or any other audit firms hourly rates, because they're high. You know, I used to bill out at $300 an hour, I think, at Plant. That was 20-some years ago. You know, but if we could rely on other people with some expertise to just go, hey, you know, I'm not sure why this is doing what it is. Can you come in and take a look? You know, I think there's cooperation between other townships and the county to maybe come in and help. I forget the gal's name that we were.
Could be Heidi, could be
Yeah,
Sarah,
Heidi,
could
right.
be Patty,
Yeah.
could be, yeah.
Yeah, you know, so, you know, there's other alternatives in this high-cost service. And I understand that, you know, you've got the conflict with UE, that if they don't have a consulting arm, you know, it gets a little dicey as far as, you know, keeping it clean from your audit firm versus your consulting firm.
Okay, now I just raised a question, Jill. You indicated with UE, and you said there was an exception clause per se, if you had UE as our auditor, and if they had another arm, another appendage of a consulting, would that be amenable in your mind on ethics?
Yeah, I think you could do that. You would have to have people that were totally not on the audit team, you know, and technically, you know, when that whole regulation happened after the Arthur Anderson, you know, meltdown years and years ago, you didn't want audit firms doing the consulting and the audit work for clients, so most of them had separate entities split out. So it'd be like Plant Moran Consulting or, you know, Plant Moran Auditing. You know, Plant does both. They do consulting and auditing work. But, you know, you might be able to have people within UE that wouldn't be Trent's group that would be coming in auditing that would be okay. But, you know, any type of advice, they're supposed to be coming to you saying, this is what we would suggest, but then you guys have to go, okay, we'll do it. Even a journal entry. You know, they can't just tell you, do this journal entry. They really have to say, here's what we would propose you do. You guys then have to go, yep, this makes sense, we'll do it. You know, I realize that, you know, it's complicated in townships.
Knowledge, I could reach out to UE tomorrow and to see if they have a separate arm that is a non-audit team member for Green Lake Township.
Yeah, you could do that, yeah. I might suggest, though, that because Plant was in, they had all the data, they knew everything, they had dug into the system, they may be able to help with the reconciling issues on the bank statements fairly quickly. They should be able to, because they're not huge dollars from what Andy
timing issue and the working knowledge year to date, well, year to December 31st when they stopped working, it may make sense to continue with Plant Moran, given a specified work list to PC. We need to know the root problem, root issue, and if it's something that we are incompetent on doing or something of that nature there, it needs to be stated point blank. And you know, we are here for a reason. We ran for this job for a purpose, and we should take our hits with a purpose. We should also be able to take accolades, which we're government, so it doesn't happen very often. But it needs to be done. Trying to formulate a budget and not having it Yes, I have talked with the deputy treasurer as of, was it last week, this week? I can't recall. And she's of the opinion that she could spend an extra day coming in to help with that office, trying to get things taken care of. So if we had that ability, if Andy would authorize the deputy to come in for an extra day a week for a time period and have Plant Moran, so they have a constant contact, constant source of information. I think, as Jill would noted and what Sherry thought, they could sit there and hammer through it relatively quickly and not as painful. There, I think all seven of us talked.
You guys are leaning towards doing this thing. Again, we need a gatekeeper, which I think should be you, Marv. I don't think Andy should have unlimited access to Plant Moran, call him whenever he wants. I think he needs to go through you, and you be the gatekeeper and limiting the scope of what's happening.
Perfect.
So if someone's gonna make a motion, which is not me,
I'll make a motion that we allow the treasurer to work through the supervisor with Plant Moran to assist with any accounting needs that the supervisor feels is appropriate for the treasurer to ask for assistance with.
Second.
all right, so there was no limit on that, there's no time limit, there was no specific issue.
Correct. Would you like something? I can add
Yeah,
it.
we're all trying to.
What would you like?
Restrict this so it's not open-ended. So it,
Dave just put the words in and he didn't want to make the motion, so what motion did I make?
Well, I wrote down treasurer through the supervisor can call for assistance that the supervisor feels may be needed. Now you have to add back in specifically for bank reconciliations and tax accounts.
Apparently that's what I'm making the motion because we want to handcuff me.
What about a time limit? Like, I think they should be able to be done in like 2 months. I can't-
Perfect, let's do 2 months, we can come back and ask for more or more permission to get help.
no, I don't think there's a time limit, honestly.
We've been at it a year.
I know.
How about report back in a couple months?
I think it's ridiculous to put a timeline, we're not gonna put a lease on a fire truck and say you gotta come back in 2 months. If we haven't used it, we're not gonna keep it.
I'm more concerned with the amount that we're spending. I think if Andy comes back each month and lets us know how much, like, what the progress is, continuing like we are now, and then keeping us up to date on where we are money-wise, then at that point, then the board can make a decision whether we want to continue or not. I don't want to see, another bill racked up like we've had. But I don't want to handcuff him either.
But it has been open-ended, and he's been keep telling us, oh, it's almost fixed, almost fixed, almost fixed, almost fixed, almost fixed.
And I haven't used them since.
So, and then, there's some gain to use plan. It's engagement letter language.
Yes.
Yeah, I'd be happy to do that, Mark, because I was a little concerned when they were engaged last year as to what their marching orders were. And I know how that works, I lived on both sides of the fence. You've got to be really careful about it. But I think to let them get this year that's ending June 30th reconciled, making sure everything looks right, that the bank recs are done, and the other concern, would be great. If we want to then, look at someone else for ongoing, just little one-off questions, because we should know how to do this, once it's reconciled. That would be the ideal thing. The other little glitch that's come along is when Andy switches to the BSNA online payment program, you gotta make sure that's set up right, and it's gonna feed through BSNA and over to the bank.
To the bank and the recs.
Because that's another change, and that could get, that could go off the rails right away, and that starts July 1.
Yeah, okay, so what I'll do is I'll draft up what I understand the concerns here, marching orders, for PM. That way you're not spending your time creating anything. I'll email it to you. Maybe we could set up to meet or whatever, and we could hone it down if the board is amenable for that process, which I don't think would be too much of an issue. I mean, it's a day-to-day operation, so thank you, Jill. Okay, we have a motion by Merrick, supported by McDonald. Any further discussion, Pat?
Well, it was, may have been attempted to be amended by Merrick. We want to eliminate it to reconciliation and tax or something like that.
Tax.
Bank recs and tax account.
Is that?
Yes.
Well, I just restated it, just
Yes.
restated. the motion.
I will second that as amended.
Could you read the motion so we know what exactly I said? Because I'm at this point completely confused about what day of the week and what I said.
I can't quite do minutes like that unless I'm listening, but what I have is the treasurer through the supervisor can call in assistance that the supervisor feels may be warranted needed. That was supported by Pat. Dave asked, can the board put its own limits on bank recs and tax accounting only?
And then you,
And you said, fine.
But there was a time limit, somebody was.
I
That
didn't-
wasn't thrown in.
I didn't
Wasn't
put a
thrown
time
in.
limit.
Okay.
so I think it's,
And I would report back monthly. Okay, we have a motion, and it was with the amendments, and Pat supported the motion with the amendments as well.
yep.
Everybody understand what the motion is or what the concept is? I don't hear any disagreement on that. I'm gonna ask for a roll call, please.
Biganowski.
Yes.
Biondo.
Yes.
West.
No.
Merrick.
Yes.
McDonald.
Yes.
Kramer, yes, and Radke.
Yes. Motion carries, thank you. Next item on our postponed business is the data center moratorium follow-up. See you, Bill. What is the consensus in regards to the topic on the data center moratorium follow-up?
You want me to take this?
Yes, you can take lead, Pat.
Well, first I wanted to apologize publicly to our attorneys for throwing them under the bus at the last meeting. Turns out they did get back to me, but they got back to me in 53 minutes, and I was totally unprepared for that. So it went right by me, and I missed it. So they did respond, and it basically comes down to they said either mine or theirs was fine. The one issue, I guess, for this board today would be, well, their recommendation had been for a 6-month moratorium with the option of extending it, and we went with the 12 months. I don't think it's quite a big issue. The attorneys didn't say it was a big issue. They just said there's a preference for 6. Maybe I'll let Dave take the comment on 6 versus 12, but I think that's really, and then Judy can correct me if I missed anything, but I think it comes.
This is that we move expeditiously in regards to addressing the data centers, and if we can get that done in our zoning ordinance in 6 months, we are in compliance. We're fine in that regards there. So I just don't want to wait until the 11th month, 29th day, and say, oops, we need to continue. This is a drop dead project that this township should be concerned with, should be addressing, and should have verbiage sooner than later.
I would note that the proposed zoning ordinance moratorium is for 6 months. It's in our packet tonight.
Yes.
I also noticed in the last MTA news, they said at the time of publication, the MTA itself is about to release their sample ordinance, the full-blown ordinance.
Yes, and that won't be released until probably next Friday.
For us, if, let's say, a data center wasn't approaching us, but would this also prevent someone coming in, let's say Nestle's wanted to come in and do something with water extraction? Should they be tied together? Should they maybe be separated so that we have 2 separate or two separate police power ordinances on them, or are you okay with it all being under one particular resolution?
Yeah, I'm okay with it. As we are drafting the zoning ordinance changes,
That was part of the packet, I believe, and also, not Buckenthal, but Fahey Schultz, other major law firm in the state, indicated and gave an opinion in regards to NIMBYs, bananas, and nopes. For those that don't know, NIMBYs are not in my backyard, nopes are not on planet Earth, and bananas are build absolutely nothing anywhere near anyone. The statutes require us to address any and all types of uses, and we can't exclude them with very, very few exceptions. So hence the studies and all that type of stuff. So I'm amenable to continue with the 12-month as long as we can forge ahead and get it done in half the time.
Sure.
Agreed.
Happy with it.
Okay. Does that conclude that discussion
I
under
hope
old
so.
business?
I hope so.
Okay. Well, you've completed postponed business on our agenda. We're going to move on to new business.
So Marv, we can remove that for next month. We don't need to keep that on there, correct?
Correct.
Perfect, thank you.
We're going under new business, and everybody here, thank you, would entertain a motion to open the budget public hearing at 6:38.
Support.
Motion by Biano, supported by Merrick, to open the budget public hearing. I believe everybody's got a copy of the proposed budget. It's been circulating and it's been tweaked since our last budget study session based on the recommendations. I would ask that you separate and grab the thicker budget, because the thinner budget's only the odd number pages. So please go with the thicker budget in that regards there.
So we're only spending half the money then?
Yeah.
Correct.
And the changes that were discussed at the budget hearing have been implemented from our conversations in that regards there. Dave brought up 101, 257, 703, which is on, hey, an even page, number 6, for the assessor. And it was 70,000, we agreed to hire the assessor at 70,000. There's an $80,000 number in there, because we also agreed if the assessor accomplished the next level certification, it was a $10,000 increase. So I prefer to have it budgeted and come back and have it amended. So that's the reason in there, Dave, for that particular one. And we finally got the settlement statement from the county. We received the check from the county and the disbursements for the reimbursements of some of these SAT accounts. So we'll be able to adjust them with actual numbers. But at that point in time, we did put in a brief comment in regard to the Strawberry Point. There was a request given to the township. They wanted to know the status of Strawberry Point funds and where their money is, and that, you know, they made a request that we stop getting money from them, billing them for their sewer service. Gave them part of the audit, gave them the actual cash on hand. They thought they had $198,000 cash when actually they only had $24,000 cash, because the capitalized value of the sewer system was included in their numbers, so they thought they had close to $200,000 in money, when in actuality they only had $24,000 in cash, and the other thing was the value of their system.
Is that what the guy did at public comment? I had no idea what he's talking about.
Yeah, that's Strawberry Point.
Wasn't the FOIA for any information, any discussion, any email going back to the beginning of discussions on the Strawberry Point sewer?
Correct.
Yes.
And I did send a response back, because I do not feel that the rest of the taxpayers should have to pay for that many years' worth of information being printed, copied, someone paid to do it. And so I did ask for them to do a deposit down on the FOIA request before we would start it.
How much did you ask them for the deposit?
$500.
Yeah, 'cause this dates back to 2005-06, when they first started questioning that facility.
So we got to go back through all the
They want to go
emails
back
ever
to
done,
whenever it
back to
started,
that date.
Correct.
and there's a lot.
And they basically want us to chase down each and every one of the properties, what do you call it, title search, in regards to who paid what and who obligated to what, who's committed to what. And at, you know, $200 a parcel for title search.
You don't have to create any document. That's good.
Yes, so I just wanted to bring that up. So the numbers are reflective, are billing this, the system is done, they're just being billed to flush. That's what they wanted.
Did you say you give them $24,000, or did you say that's just what they have cash in the account?
That's what they have cash
You
in the
didn't give
account.
the people anything?
Yes, so
Okay.
they received a copy of the audit
Okay.
and with all the numbers, and they're still not, apparently not
Happy.
happy, you know, snap, snap. And I thought
Okay.
we've been very forward with them, transparent, you know, here, come and take a look. I've sat down with a couple of them, and they don't agree. Well,
We gave
Here are
them
the
most of the
numbers.
documents already.
Well, and
that?
I,
We gave them most of the documents already. 2 or 3
Correct.
times.
I believe that every month when you send, or whenever you send the billing out for the sewer, you also provide information as to what's in the account, don't you?
We don't provide them the balance of the account.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we did at one point in time, I believe we gave them the balance, sent them out the balance of what they had in that account, that budget center. Yes.
If I might, just, not
Please,
that I
Paul.
can remember exact numbers, but part one, we bought the land and then we designed and special assessed for the system. At the time, I believe, I think it was the state of Michigan recommended that we had about $30,000 built up in that account in case there are repairs in the winter or anything else. So that was part of the budget every year, is we would accrue, a certain amount of money. And that's why probably there's about $24,000. That sounds about right.
Yeah, there was a little bit more in there, but we had a problem where a
Yeah.
main was broke.
In the winter or something.
Yeah, and it was a 3-day ordeal.
Yeah.
2 or 3 day ordeal, Roy, where Roy and I spent some time out there. I gave him relief because we were standing out there and had to ensure everything was done in accordance with Eagle requirements,
Right.
which has been a challenge.
But I mean, that, just so they might know, and maybe I think we used to give them, we had a budget every year that said, here's what we're paying the operator and the electric and all these
Yeah.
things.
And that's what we gave them. Gave them Butch Straight,
Yep.
BSI, I think is this company's name. You know, this is what they're charged, and every couple of years, we indicate that there's gonna be a $4,000 hauling fee, because we gotta pump that tank out, and it's $4,000. Probably a little bit more now.
I don't know if we're, like, once in a while, we gotta brush hog it or something. 'Cause
Yes, and that wasn't done for many years, and we had that done last year, because it was brought to the attention, and went, okay,
Yeah.
my bad. So, yes, so I will work on that with this budget, give him the budget worksheet in that regards there, as far as electricity, the phone, the call out, so if something, alarm goes off, there's a remote call out that we're required to have. And the contract to go out and do the inspections and the testing. We still have to have testing done as well. So, other than that, public comment, please.
You're dropping like flies.
Yeah. Hearing none, any comments from this board? I would entertain a motion to close the public hearing at 6:48 PM.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Merrick, supported by McDonald, to close the public hearing on the budget. All in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed say no. Motion carries. Okay, we close the public hearing. Now, next. New business, budget amendment. Judy and I and Andy as well, we sat down. Pam does payables and bills and all that, and the computer software enlightens her that we might be over budget on a particular line item, so we have to look at the budget center, which prompted us to go through and add some money to the budget centers, because we do a budget center budget. Last year, we got dinged on it a couple times because we went over the budget center. So this year, we thought a little longer and harder on it.
Hey,
And
Marv, can I make a motion?
Judy made a recommendation. Yes, make a motion.
I make a motion we adopt the budget amendments presented in our board packet for the 2025-2026 budget.
Second.
We got a motion by Merrick, supported by West. Discussion.
We're comfortable on these numbers, right?
I-
You want it to be tighter, but this is
Yes.
realistic numbers.
I'd like to be tighter, but we did put a little bit more in each budget center and put some, adjusted some budget lines within a budget center so we would not be over budget.
Thank you.
Any other discussion?
I knew that answer, by the way. I just wanted that.
Roll call, please.
West,
Yes.
McDonald,
Yes.
Merrick,
Yes.
Biganowski.
Yes.
Biondo,
Yes.
Kramer, yes, and Radke.
Yes.
Hey, Marv, I make a motion that we adopt Resolution 06092026.1, a resolution to appropriate budgeted funds.
You have to stop, though. You got to approve the budget first.
Yep,
Yes.
Adopt the budget.
yep.
Action on the public hearing.
I make a motion we adopt the budget for fiscal year 2026, 2027 as presented. Skipped ahead.
Support.
Second.
Okay. Discussion. Hearing none, roll call, please.
Merrick,
Yes.
Biondo,
Yes.
McDonald,
Yes.
Biganowski. Kramer, yes. West
Yes.
and Radke.
Yes.
Can we appropriate the funds now?
Slow down.
Slow down.
Okay, we'll move on to new business continued. Resolution 06092026.1, appropriate budgeted funds. Appropriate budgeted funds.
I'll make a motion we
No,
adopt
no,
that.
no.
Wait.
Stop. This is one that Pat brought to my attention, and asked that we could review it as a board. There should be a couple items removed from that resolution.
Yeah, and actually, if you're looking at the three words that are striked out, that it should actually go all the way to the end of that sentence, should be, because it was a leftover from last year. Got put back.
Where you at?
On your desk, you had a side packet.
Oh, you got a different one than I,
Yes. And on page 2 of said resolution that's being discussed, second line after the resolution number as amended, adding that those three words were
And
striked out and,
and continue striking out right to the end of the sentence.
yes,
So it ends at the period before you're striking out.
yeah, after L 4029 period, strike that out.
Yep. So the sentence now ends right after the resolution number.
Okay,
Got it.
everybody on the same page?
So to speak.
Okay, so now with that
okay. That wasn't,
With that being said, everybody's aware that we've removed everything after adopt resolution 06092026.1, correct?
Correct.
So I would entertain a motion adopting said resolution as amended.
I'll make a motion we adopt Resolution 06092026.1 as amended, removing, as amended, adding, in accordance with the budget adopted for 2026, 2027, and incorporated herein by reference, levies of 3.98% mills as outlined in the Form L 4029.
Second.
We have a motion by Merrick, supported by McDonald, to adopt resolution 06092026.1. Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Biondo.
Yes.
West.
yes.
Kramer, yes. Biganowski.
Yes.
Merrick,
Yes.
McDonald,
Yeah.
and Radke.
Yes. Okay, now we'll move on to the packet resolution. Actually, I'm right, yeah. Packet resolution number 06092026.2 would be the meeting dates of Green Lake Township Board of Trustees.
I make the motion that we adopt Resolution 06092026.2, Township Board meeting schedule for 2026, 2027, as presented.
Support.
We have a motion by Kramer, supported by West, to adopt resolution 06092026.2 regarding the Township Board meeting schedule. Paul?
In our packet, the schedule says 25, 26. So are we, this is just for next year.
Oh, up here at the top.
We're just
I left
updating
mine home.
26 and
Jeez
27.
Louise. Yeah, so up at the top, I'll change it.
And it says budget hearing in there. Is that just something left over?
No, that's what we do every year. So June 8th next year will be the budget hearing.
Oh.
And then up at the top, I'll change on the actual schedule.
Oh, on the schedule, okay, I'm looking at the resolution.
Yeah, I was
going-
too.
It isn't on the
I
resolution.
put it on the calendar and left it booked.
Yeah,
So are any of these altered, or are they all second Tuesdays?
second Tuesdays.
Okay.
Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
West,
Yes.
McDonald,
Yes.
Merrick,
Yes.
Biganowski.
Yes.
Biondo,
Yes.
Kramer, yes, and Radke.
Yes, resolution considered adopted. Thank you. Now we'll move on to resolution,
So number 3, the depository, this is one that.
was on the side desk,
Was on the side desk,
outside of the packet.
yes.
And the outside of the packet, the side one, the following resolution was offered by, at the end of that, after the resolution number, as amended, removing Act 20, PA of 1943. That line has been stricken out for compliance with. Everybody on the same page with that?
Yep.
Okay, and this happens to be for the depositories to authorize the treasurer to deposit funds of all public money in the checking, savings, et cetera. So we're giving him giving the treasurer authorization. I would entertain a resolution with the noted amendment.
So moved.
Motion by McDonald, supported by
Support.
Baganowski, to approve resolution 06092026.3 as amended with the removal of as amended, removing Act 20, Public Act 1943.
Would that be to adopt, not approve?
To adopt, yes. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
West,
Yes.
McDonald,
Yes.
Merrick,
Yes.
Biganowski.
Yes.
Kramer, yes, Biondo,
Yes.
and Radke.
Yes. Oh,
One more.
one more. Next item is resolution number 06092026.4. It's the investment resolution.
I make the motion that we adopt Resolution 06092026.4, investment resolution as presented.
Second.
Got a motion by Kramer, supported Division Committee. Jason is here. Is there anything that you would like to add?
Do you know who drafted it?
Didn't this say though somewhere that it couldn't be split again? That was my
Got some language
question
like that
when
in
I
there.
read all of this.
May not thereafter be divided except as provided in paragraph 2.
Yes.
What'd you just say, Pat?
Paragraph number 1 says it may not be divided except pursuant to paragraph 2.
All right.
And they can be split apart, but they have to meet the requirements.
Yes, bring it back
They
to
have to
us.
come back to the board.
So are we just authorizing the supervisor and the clerk to enter into this agreement? Is that what we're looking for here?
Yes, in essence. And that Mr. Saz is going to be responsible for the legal fees incurred and the recording fees.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Motion by Merrick, supported by McDonald, to approve Saz's request. Any discussion?
At his expense for the recording
And legal.
and legal. Thank you.
Okay. Still continue with that, Mr. McDonald?
Yes.
Yes. Roll call, please.
McDonald,
Yes.
West,
Yes.
Merrick,
Yes.
Biondo,
Yes.
Biganowski.
Yes.
Kramer, yes, and Radke.
Yes. Thank you. Just threw my agenda someplace. Oh, there it is. Next item is recommendation from the Planning Commission to adopt zoning ordinance amendment 26-001. Ordinance amendment, temporary moratorium on data centers. They went through the process on that, Pat?
Yes.
So it's in front of us for an ordinance amendment.
Is it public hearing and all that, or is this the public hearing?
No, no, we had the public hearing, we don't have to have one.
Nobody made a request to hold a public hearing at this level, so in accordance with the statutes, we're not required to do so. Typically, we do.
Typically, we do.
However,
Okay.
it did not happen this time.
I'll make a motion we adopt zoning.
Oh, wait, could I ask for 2 typos to be changed?
Waiting.
Okay. Well, first of all, I passed out a summary of comments received at the public hearing. It's something that's required by the statute. And we also had the minutes of the planning commission in our packets tonight. But it's contained a little earlier in the packet, and they're exactly the same summary.
Thank you, sir.
And I guess as far as changes, if the board would look at paragraph number 4, under section 1, I would like, after the word reasonable, I'd like to add comma, and add the word convenient, because that matches the language in our ordinance for amending the ordinance. It's weird language, but it says convenient, necessary, and all we have in there right now is necessary.
Okay.
It says convenient necessary or convenient and necessary?
Convenient and necessary.
And
So
necessary.
reasonable, comma, convenient, and necessary.
Correct.
Perfect.
And the only other proposed change, if you look under section 2, in the lead-in language, Article 18, administration and enforcement, is hereby amended by, I'd like to change that word amending to adding.
The new section?
Yeah,
Amended by adding.
yes.
Thank you.
Okay. Everybody take note of that?
Is that all of them, Pat?
Yep.
Sherry?
Reading through all of this, somebody come up with possible findings supporting the need for a moratorium?
Yeah, I did that just because the findings that are contained in here are a little bit general. Planning Commission didn't adopt my findings, but they did agree to pass them along. So at this point, I'm not gonna argue that they have to be adopted.
They're good.
They're part of the record.
They're very
If the
good, but
board wants to adopt them, that's fine, but I'm not gonna push it.
they're only part of the planning commission record then.
Well, if we recognize, if we adopt this zoning ordinance amendment with recognition of,
The possible findings, yeah, because these are really good, and I thought whoever did it did a really good job.
okay, any other discussion? There was not a motion.
I got stopped.
Is there a motion to,
I'll make a motion we adopt ordinance ZOA 26-001 as amended, adding convenient to section 1, number 4 after reasonable, a comma, and convenient. And in section 2, striking amending and adding the word adding prior to section 18.3, and adopting or accepting
accepting
what's the verbiage?
findings
findings from the planning commission.
Okay, everybody,
I'll second it.
motion by Merrick, supported by West. Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
One moment.
Stand by.
Make sure I get all these notes. Kramer, yes. Biganowski.
Yes.
Biondo.
Yes.
West.
Yes.
Merrick.
Yes.
McDonald.
Yes.
And Radke.
Yes. Consider the zoning ordinance amendment 26-001 adopted. Now we'll move on to zoning ordinance amendment 26-002. This is to amend the current sign ordinance, and this is in compliance with a 2016 U.S. Supreme Court decision in Reed versus Gilbert. Communities are no longer allowed to regulate signage based on what it says.
Content.
Yes, we have to be content neutral. We have to treat any and all size signs consistently and fairly, with the exception of political signs, mind you, but that's whole nother topic.
I'll make a motion we adopt ordinance ZOA 26-002 as presented.
Second.
We have a motion by Merrick, supported by Kramer, to adopt zoning ordinance amendment 26-002 for the current sign ordinance.
I just want to
This
add
has
that
been
this
a
is
long time
beautiful.
coming.
I'm glad this got done finally. Like you said, it's been going on for a long time.
Yes.
And this is much cleaner and easier to understand, and it's compliant finally.
Yeah, this started back in Isaac days.
Yep.
Then it was followed through with Jason and PC. Any other discussion?
So-
Yep. Oh,
Jerry.
go ahead. I thought it was convoluted. I thought it was a whole lot to be added to our zoning ordinance, and I was wondering why it couldn't have been condensed down into something. And then it's got a 16.16, and it's got a 16.18. What happened to 16.17?
Same thing with 13th floor.
It's probably remaining, it's
I was
probably
just-
No
one that
change-
we're
no
not
change.
replacing.
These are the amended sections of that particular ordinance, so 17 stayed.
I'm guessing.
No changes.
No change to
I'm
it
getting affirmative.
from somebody?
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
Yes, it's legal. That's
Okay.
a lot of words.
It's a lot of mess,
Yeah.
so.
Any other discussion? Roll call it, please.
Biondo.
Yes.
West.
Yes.
Kramer, yes. Biganowski.
Yes.
Merrick.
Yes.
McDonald.
Yes.
And Radke.
Yes. Consider the zoning ordinance amendment 26-002, sign ordinance amendment, adopted. Next item on our agenda is the Interlochen DDA draft 26-27 budget. It's in the packet. And first off, I'd like to address a question or a comment that was stated under public comment. I think this is the time to discuss that.
Yes.
The fund balance, they are unlike a township or any other. DDA is a district that captures taxes from a certain point on, and it goes into their account. And the DDA then establishes within that district projects they would like to do. So they save money, per se, to establish trails or establish street lighting. So they're able to collect that money, put it into a fund balance account, and save up until a time to where we can pay, my apologies, until the DDA can pay cash or go for bonding to put in sidewalks, put in street lighting within that district. So this is a continuation of that project. Am I off base on that, Pat, in that regards? Or Dave, with your experience of
Just like a
DDAs?
checking account, right?
Yep.
Carry over balance.
You know, and Paul, created this back in the day for that purposes.
So there was a base set for everybody in the district, so everybody, like the library, whoever was collecting, still get the base, but they get the increase over these years. I don't know, it's been 10 years. They get to capture the increase just in that district, and the idea is to improve in a district that needs improvement, which it did, and it still does.
So
Does this look like TIF 97 where
Yes.
it expires at a certain time frame?
After 30 years, it
30
could
years.
be
Okay.
terminated or it could be renewed. We need to get a bug man in here. Does that answer your,
It does, this has always been kind of a mystery thing.
yes, they're their own entity, but they are part of us.
Yeah, yeah.
Like
Just
the
like the
road
road
commission.
commission with the county.
Yeah, it just seemed like they were holding on to taxpayer money and just accumulating it, and not spending it.
That's exactly what they're doing.
We have
I'd
a,
be a little irritated
Not
if I
anymore.
saw somebody just
yeah,
taking my money and not spending it on things that I thought they should. That's
yeah.
what I
This is for a trail. They've been working on,
Yeah.
you know, a trail for decades.
thought.
We are so close. It is, I'm kind of excited about it. Pat and Roy have done a pretty good job, a very good job, in trying to keep them on track to get this accomplished. With that, any questions or comments in regards to the draft budget?
The economic development is pretty specific down to 19 cents. What is the $17,018.19 spent on for economic development with this? Is that the trail work?
I can't remember what that is.
It would have been 00, wouldn't have caught my eye as quickly as, I mean, everything else is
Oh,
$50.
that's the remaining balance owed to weight trim.
So that's for the trail then?
Yes.
Perfect. It's a weird number.
Okay.
So we just receive and file this, or we adopt it?
No, we
or-
have to adopt it so they can proceed.
I'll make
I-
a mo- sorry.
Before we go on, I'm gonna make a comment. The DDA has funded the Christmas lights, light up Interlochen, and, which I have no issues with. It's within the district, it's part of that, but it was sponsored by the chamber. And the chamber, over the years, have made additional requests for the DDA to fund the enlargement, the installation, and the takedown of said light up Interlochen. And I have a pretty good issue with paying the president of the Chamber of Commerce to design and install light up Interlochen projects. I've made that fairly clear. And that was my concern in talking with some of the chamber members. They're upset because they put in just as much time and they don't get paid. So we had a couple chamber members resign from that position. And the DDA took heed this year and did not quite go with the request. So I'm impressed pleased with that.
They can't stick it in some line item?
But didn't they, when we read the DDA minutes, when I read all the weren't they giving them like $14,000 for that light up the?
Well, hopefully they can use that money to fix half the lights. 'cause
So they
it only works
work.
half the time of half the lights. That was my understanding.
But where does it show up in their budget here?
Community promotion.
The
The
15,000.
15,000.
I got it, community, so that's the
Thank
light
you.
up.
I just wanted to bring that out. I wanted to make that aware. That's been an elephant in the room for quite some time. And these comments will upset some people, but at this point in time, you know, we have an entity that's designing everything and going back to the bank, AKA the DDA, which is taking money from their intent of streetlights and sidewalks and trails, my opinion.
Marv, since you brought that up, I was going to bring it up during the discussion. I am also concerned about the amount of money being spent to pay a particular individual who's the president of the chamber to do this that doesn't work, or at least as sold. We only had half the lights working for part of the year. It only runs for a short period of time. and a lot of the businesses in the DDA don't benefit from it. I'm not sure how Kate's Sweet Shop benefits from traffic coming in at Christmas time when she's closed, or Bud's when they're not open as many hours. I hope that the DDA will look at other ways to bring about business and growth during the season when most of all of our businesses are open. I'm disappointed in other DDAs, and I hope that this one will focus a little bit more on what were originally set up for.
Pat, are they still discussing streetlights and sidewalks?
Yeah, well, streetlights have been on the agenda every time for probably 2 or 3 years now. We haven't had enough time to really concentrate on streetlights because we've been most
Christmas lights.
Well, it doesn't really cost us that much time, but the trail
Money it does.
is costing a lot of time, and then with the other, with all the construction, we've spent some money to try and help the business owners by putting up signs and notifying people by billboards, that the businesses were still open and how to get there, and made a website, communications available to them to try and help. So those were most of the DDA people don't have a lot of extra time to work on some of these things. So once the trail starts wrapping up, we want to do streetlights. We'll get back to them. We just took it off until we can conclude that we can work on them again, then we'll put it back on there.
I'm not sure how effective the billboards were for use of money. I drove by one apparently for months and never saw it. There was a construction cone apparently.
It was the honor one and down there in front of Pioneer Diesel.
I did see that one once in front of Pioneer.
But, yeah, and that's what the intent is. The DDA is there to help the DDA district in that regards there, so I'm good with that. Any other discussion? Comments? I would entertain a motion to adopt DDA budget 26-27 budget year.
Do we adopt it or do we approve it?
We approve it.
Approve it.
I move to approve the DDA's budget for 26-27 year.
Motion by West, supported by Radke. Any discussion? Roll call.
West,
Yes.
McDonald,
Yes.
Merrick,
Yes.
Viganowski.
Yes.
Biondo,
Yes.
Kramer, yes, and Radke.
Yes. Consider the budget approved.
Thank you.
Thank you, Pat and Roy, for sitting on the DDA and accessory boards for that.
Are you our liaison for the DDA?
I don't know if that's an official title or not.
Or are you just a board member because you have
It might be.
In other words,
He's
he
board
doesn't
rep
want
to
it in the
that.
minutes.
Yeah. The next item would be discussion. I do have a topic I would like to bring the board aware of. As hopefully everybody is aware, Mr. Pat Kessel of ICA retired after many decades of serving ICA. He was the chief financial officer at the ICA. I was asked to go down and meet with Pat Kessel and the new Pat Kessel, Anthony, a very nice guy. And they have some plans. I'm going to rely on Paul and Pat, I think, back in the time. ICA used Green Lake Township as a conduit for their bonding for their last master plan infrastructure improvements. And they took care of any and all cost
Yes.
at that point in time.
And we might charge them something too.
Yes, I think there was, I think there was a 1% admin fee or something of that nature.
We had to
there.
form an economic development corporation.
Exactly.
Yes, and then Pat, Mr. McDonald indicated over the budget, because I was going to eliminate that at one point in time, and he indicated we want to keep it just in case. So we've kept it in our budget and active. We have not eliminated that. Well, their request is gonna be a tad bit larger than the last time.
At the time, it was large.
Yes.
Nowadays, I guess it's irrelevant.
Yeah, so they are asking if we would entertain that under the same terms as we did the last time.
I think we should review those terms.
Yes.
They
Well,
used
and I
billing.
gave them a heads up, well, if we do, we're not paying anything, meaning our taxpayers will not pay a dime. And we will,
And just so it's clear, all it does is let them bond for money in a tax exempt envelope because they're an educational institution. So at the time, they couldn't go to they couldn't get any other EDC in Grand Traverse County wouldn't do them. They were busy with other funding. So we formed our own EDC, blah, blah, blah. And all it did is let the bond company sell the bonds as a tax exempt bond. It held us harmless and not
We're not
in any way
obligated.
reliable for the
Yeah.
bonds. It's just they have to do it this way to have a tax exempt bond. Has to go through an EDC and whatever else they.
And that's a pretty big
Miller-
savings, isn't it? Being
Yeah,
tax
I mean, it
exempt.
changes the interest rate quite a bit, but plus it's Miller Canfield out of Detroit did all their work and they're top notch.
yeah, so we'll sit there and I can give them a response, because I said, we'd like to have some more information. But they said, well, would you entertain it? So that's what I'm bringing to this board tonight, and I'm of the opinion to entertain it. And in regards to the parking issue, I know it's been an issue for at least 15 years. I've been here over 50 years. But we did engage 2 months ago that our CPO, our fire chief, along with myself, would work with ICA to remove the hazardous parking along J. Matty Parkway and Diamond Park. So we're getting also the county's emergency director involved, just because of the emergency responses. Am I stating that pretty close, Chief Case?
Yep.
So we are working on that, just hasn't been brought forward yet with the transition, et cetera, et cetera. So we're experimenting this season. if
We're
you will.
closer than we've ever been.
Yes.
Well, somebody took down a bunch of signs. Who did that?
County Road Commission.
We gotta pay to put signs up, but they'll take them down for free.
They're gonna
You
keep
didn't even
them.
notice that, did you?
They're gonna,
They're down.
yeah, they're gonna keep them for us.
What a
Because,
pile.
for a while, because I had discussions with Sheriff Shea, so now we're going through and trying to figure out what's what as well. So I will approach,
Yeah, somehow we went backwards. That's great.
yeah,
We ask for more, we get less.
Hey, that's government.
less government, I thought that's what we wanted.
Unless,
Unless. So I will respond to ICA, specifically through Anthony and his other individual, and said, okay, let's go on to terms. I think I still got your 9.5 inches of paperwork on that bond in the
Oh.
bottom file cabinet.
Yeah.
Is that what
So-
keeps it so it doesn't fall over?
Yes, I'll pull that out and see what our agreement was then, and we can continue from that point if that's amenable to the board. Okay, great.
You know, years ago, some organization with a bus used to bus people in for those concerts and that would drop a lot of the traffic from being here. I don't know what happened to that. But we've got that big ballpark down there. Why can't we work something out with them for people to park there and then
Weird.
they've got the buses to bus them in?
It's funny you say that,
They have a trolley.
because
They have a
do-
trolley.
They have a trolley now, and that is part of the conversations as well.
They did use it for graduation. They
Yeah.
said people parked down there for graduation.
Yes, so that's the reason why I was so packed there on that weekend. And we're also trying to engage, I keep clicking that pen, making a noise, sorry. We're trying to engage other larger property owners.
That'd be me.
To be able to utilize that. I know we've been talking with Deering's and the Olsons, and we're working out coordinated time with the pit spitters as well.
And there's also a new marching band field that they're putting in that they're designing to also be able to handle the traffic
At the
Off
music
off of
camp.
Diamond Park Road.
Yes. So we are actively doing that But obviously it takes a little bit of time.
There's about 8
coordination.
different things they brought up that they're working on, and
Yeah.
they're moving at record speed for as far as things go. So in about 10 years, it should be done.
No, I'm thinking less than the end of this
When we're
season, we'll
done.
have experience.
Oh, yeah, they're faster than we are.
Okay, any other discussion?
Oh, just
Pat?
very briefly, had some inquiries about the roundabout center and the decorating of it, or just, yeah.
The lack thereof.
Yeah, I mean, who's got jurisdiction over it?
MDOT.
MDOT.
That's where they're gonna put all the no parking signs.
They said native species are gonna be planted in there. They're
Not to
low.
exceed 24 inches in height, and we cannot put a miniature Big Ben, we cannot put one of our sculptures in, we
Nothing
cannot.
fun at all.
Can't put a Green Lake, welcome to Green Lake Township
No.
Are
sign.
they?
But it's gonna be
are
low
they-
water plants are gonna be put in there, so we don't.
They
need
gonna
to
put
irrigate.
irrigation in there for them?
What's that?
They're gonna irrigate them? I come through one a couple nights ago and they're irrigating
That was in
them.
East Bay
East Bay
Township, and
Township.
yes, and they went through and they paid the dollar to have it irrigated.
We're using, they're gonna use native plants that don't require the irrigation, they claim.
Yeah, right.
Because we didn't wanna,
Salt-resistant.
we didn't wanna pay for the water to go in there.
On its own.
Can't we have the fire department clean their hoses?
There we go.
All right, we're hitting the 3-hour mark. Dave's getting cranky.
Get him? That's all right, we're working on 12-hour mark.
Yeah, that's my
So,
days.
any other discussion? But I'll get some more details on that, Pat, for you as well. I'm
The only
pushing.
only other thing I have is I did hand out a Boom Boom Club. We did receive the information that we requested from them, and Pam did issue a check to them today.
Oh, was it today? Okay.
Mhm.
Any other?
How, the correspondence in there is,
Rodney Moore?
yeah. I seen the aerial and I thought, oh yeah, somebody's collecting cars.
Well, it's a very complicated thing because it's a civil matter. It's one business versus another business, but it's not being acknowledged that it's a business.
We'll get
but-
us involved.
Yes, and I can attest to you that Jason, Roy, and, our legal team have been made aware of it. We're on top of it. There is a very good history with documentation. And it's being watched, it's being scrutinized pretty carefully and documented very well, so.
Not gonna be in violation anymore, so it'd be kind of a waste of time to pursue them.
Well, whether they put it in a pole barn or if they decide to put a rainbow-covered tarp over it, that would satisfy the requirement as well, according to the court. Comment?
Come on, Scott. I know you got some in you.
If seeing none, I would entertain a motion to adjourn this meeting.
Oh,
at
there goes
7:00.
Scott now.
Pitter patter, let's get at her.
Tell him to grab his pen so you can write that down.
Okay.
I talked with Perry Johnson, and if he got to be governor, I would like our ballots counted on paper instead of the machines, because all the doors I knock on, I see a big discrepancy in our voting. So